Welcome to Did She Really Say That? The podcast for women who are done following the traditional business rules that don't serve us. I am your host, Katrina Van Housden, and in every episode, we break down what it really takes to scale your business as a woman. No burnout, no BS, no apologies. So if you're ready to discover how your natural female intelligence can become your biggest and most authentic advantage, grab your free guide at createherplanner.com/free. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to our podcast episode of Did She Really Say That? Now ranked #1 female business mentorship podcast. Thank you to all of our listeners for helping us make this possible. And I'm excited to have Grace with us today because I met her through a kind of like a entrepreneurship business networking group. And she got on there and she started talking about how she has helped small businesses and freelancers, and her company has helped them recover over $1 million in invoicing. And I was like, oh, Grace, we need to chat, right? Because this is an important conversation in the world of business. Some of us invoice, and I know some of my listeners out there, you can shake your head. You've sent an invoice and then didn't get paid, right? For services rendered. I actually has happened to me. Had a client come in, bought the whole program. Halfway through, that invoice is now not paid for whatever reason. So it happens to all of us. There's very few of us that haven't experienced the invoice oops or can't pay it anymore phenomenon. So Grace, thank you so much for joining with us. I'm not going to dive into your whole legal background because I feel like that is awesomeness and great Columbia law and all the amazing things you've done, which is your background, but we'll dive into that, I think, during this conversation. Is that cool with you?
Sounds good. Thank you for having me, Katrina.
I look, we just had a great conversation, everybody, but I want to dive into what it looks like in terms of being a woman founder in your 40s. What does, you've done the corporate world, you've done the legal background. How has this been a transition for you?
I think the transition has really been stepping into my past and stepping into all the valuable experiences I have and not really realizing when I was younger that each experience is worth something. You learn from every experience, you grow, even things that you sort of dismiss, like, oh, that's just something I did. But that's something that you did that you learn from. You really
Right.
get skills. And I think that it is the right time right now for me to be doing what I'm doing because it really is the accumulation of all these experiences I had, both legal, advocacy, family. I took time off to be a full-time mom for 6 years. And again, something that people would dismiss. I would dismiss, like I was just doing this. But then when I go back and think of all the leadership roles I had, all the volunteering, all the fundraising, all the coaching of children that I did throughout those 6 years, they are valuable experiences. And it's really great to be able to recognize that now and step into it and then use it to build something of my own.
And I'm just going to touch on that for our audience because I think so many times we discount what that leadership role looks like. I mean, you're the CEO of your house. You're basically
Right.
raising employees, and I say employees in a joking way because like you're raising human beings to go out and be productive in the world, right? Like
Right.
they're going to have a purpose beyond just, your children. And so there's a lot of skill sets that you've learned, them going to school, what's been going on. So I love that you brought that in because with your legal background and the advocacy work that you've done, I feel like you just brought that into the world of motherhood with you.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's an example. When my daughter's preschool, her director during COVID was let go, and I started this whole letter writing campaign, just trying to bring her back because they didn't have a real good reason,
Mm,
of why they were letting her go. And all the parents were like, "How do you know how to do this?" And I was like, "I've just always done it." So it's really about applying the skills that you've, like I've said, accumulated to different areas and facets of your life. Like I'm the legislative rep of my PTA right now. And again, it's about trying to, lobby for more school funding. So that's not separate from what I'm doing as DuPay. It's just all different versions of the skills that I already have. And it's really great being in my 40s right now because I talk to a lot of the times when I go to women founder events, I am definitely on the older end. It's a lot of women, in their 20s and the 30s who amazing to them starting businesses off sooner, realizing they want to be independent sooner, but they don't have the experience that I have. And sometimes
true.
I feel sort of like a sage, not even just for, career advice, because sometimes they have more career advice than I do, but it's really about just like being able to relax and being able to understand what deserves your time, what doesn't, what
Mm,
is worth a stress and what definitely isn't. And even just giving them the peace of mind that whatever seems like a hardship now is something that you will grow from. And that, the worst is not here right now. Like learning how to get past that. I just went on a walk with a woman. It's so funny. So I'm 45. We were talking and I was like, how old are you? And she's 23. And I was like, I am twice your age. Like, this is
Right.
nuts. But we had such a good conversation, of course, related on so many different things. And she just kept calling me her of the future. And I was like, that's so funny, but I'm more than happy to share, advice that I have and wisdoms that I've learned along the way. And I think that's all still, being part of being a founder and like using that experience from your past in your 40s. I love being in my 40s, honestly. Like, it always felt like something that I was going to dread. I remember turning 30 and it felt so old. And now I talk to a 30-year-old, I'm like, oh my God, you're just a baby. Just
Right.
wait. And I truly love it. Like, it's really great. I'm so happy that like I'm doing what I'm doing now.
And I love that too. I think so many times we kind of get put into a box around like motherhood, turning 40, turning 50. Like there's this like you hit a ceiling and we're like, ah, we just hit our prime. It's just like the men hit
Yes.
40s and they hit their prime in their 50s. Like we have the same thing. It just looks a little different for us and what we're doing. So you're a mom, you're looking at going back into the corporate world or you didn't, and then you decided to build a company. What
Right.
happened? Like what was that thought process?
Right. So I guess so during COVID, my son was in third grade. My daughter was still in preschool, that wonderful preschool, because they were private, so they were able to go full time. I was sitting with my son while he was taking multiplication classes or something terribly, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm not a math teacher. I'm going to take the California bar because I'd already taken the New York bar. Hadn't practiced in New York, but I was like, this is an opportunity for me. COVID, like the world is ending, but I'm going to figure out a new future for myself. I had done like projects along the way, helped some friends, done some freelancing, but I hadn't really thought about what I wanted to do like when I grow up, I guess,
Hmm.
like when the children are older, when I knew that it wasn't going to be a full-time mom forever. I just knew that's what I was doing in the moment. So
Yep.
taking the bar made me go work for, like I was doing pro bono work with this like asylum, kids who cross the border on their own. But that really wasn't feasible for me because I just didn't have the immigration background. It's what I wanted to do, but there was just such a steep learning curve.
Oh
Then I
yeah.
worked at UCLA Law Admissions and they had offered me a job. I was actually just covering for my friend who was on maternity leave. Didn't really want to do that because I was reading about all these people who wanted to do all these interesting things with their law career. But then I was like, but I already did that. Like I already got my law degree. I want to do something, but something I care about and I know it will work with my life. And
Yep.
my husband was actually COO of a gaming agency. He was sort of dealing with unpaid invoices from that end. Like he was spending his time as COO chasing unpaid invoices from years ago. I, from like, my freelance experience from like my best friend is a freelance musician, was sort of tackling the problem from that way, trying to figure out like how are freelancers actually getting paid, like aside from spending their own money and their own time. And I didn't really like the options there for either small businesses or for freelancers. And that's why we decided, my husband and I are doing this together, to create a new lane. And that's where DuPay came from, so that we could use my advocacy background. He's also a lawyer. He's more strategy and operations. And like we've been together for, again, half my life, like 23 years. And this is really, aside from our children, the biggest thing that we've done together.
Mm.
So it's really like using our skills together to build something that, is very meaningful to both of us. And like using both sides, like, cause I've always been like the heart. He's always
Yep.
been the, like, the strategic mind. And now we're just blending everything together. And that's really what has given me the like impetus, I guess, to do something on my own. Cause it's something that I care about. That again is using all my experiences, but something that's feasible within the life that I want to create for my family.
So I have a curious question. I know all my listeners are asking this too. It's like you're building with your husband. Good, bad, like is it like what was that conversation and like what's been one of the best benefits of it?
Right.
I know we can always talk about what's been like an upset, but really what's truly a benefit of building this business with your husband?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like we know each other so well, like inside and
Mm,
out. And I think what's really important for us, at least, is to know when to take something personally and when to
mm.
not take something personally. I think it would be harder almost to be 1,000% honest with a business partner, even if it was a friend, because there's always, those like questions behind it, like what do they really mean? When my husband and I talk, we are exactly saying exactly what we mean, and it really cuts through a lot of the noise. And I think it makes us more efficient because we're both very efficient people. We come to decisions very quickly. And I
Okay.
think that that's been really helpful for us. I think like to hit the other end, I think it's not having, because we're so intertwined, having boundaries. And that's my
Mm.
fault more so than his. He's always been good. Like after 6 o'clock, we are not talking about DuPay until like 9 o'clock the next morning. But me at like 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, did you do that one thing? You send that email.
Your brain does not turn off the same way. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's also a woman thing. Like, I'm going to think about things when I think about them. I cannot shut my brain off. I should learn in this capacity because it doesn't really help. But for me, like, things come to me whenever they come to me, like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and I think we talked about that with the rhythm. Like, it's so funny, after we had our initial like friendly chat, I really saw it that way. Like, okay, this is the part of the month that I really want to work. This is the part of the month that I'm like leaning back and thinking about things. So it's trying to put that together with the way he thinks about things. So
And
yeah,
it's too well, and he does it in 24 hours. You do it in
right,
28 to 32 days. Like there's
right.
just a difference, but it's like where he has an hour or so out of a day, you have days in which you're kind of going through
Exactly.
that. So it's
Yeah.
like a little bit different, but it's kind of interesting to kind of like know yourself
Right.
and then see your rhythm and then work that rhythm within his like and vice versa. And I think it's just that give and take inside of there. I mean, the sun needs the moon, the seasons need the hours and the days, like it all works together.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I think because we have such a strong past, it's made the future easier. I
I
think that
love
if there
that.
had been any cracks in the past, then they would have become much more obvious in this situation. So I think just like how people say don't have a kid to fix your marriage, like also don't start a business to fix your marriage, because if the foundation isn't strong, there are going to be bigger cracks than you started with. But thankfully for us, like, we've been together since we were 22. So like
You've grown together.
but I also don't honestly know if we could have started a business before this time. So this is all, everything sort of came together.
And I love that you say that because there is timing, like there is certain
Right.
things that happen. So one of the questions that kind of keeps bothering and nicking, how did you come up with the name DuPay? Like, did you just
Yeah.
randomly pull it out of thin air? Like, how did the name
I'm going
itself
to
come
give him all the
about?
credit for that. So he actually was like thinking about different, I wouldn't say that I'm a creative type. Like, I sort of can be. I like teach art for my kids' school because they need a volunteer, and I'm happy to apply, a creative method to something, but it doesn't necessarily come naturally to me. He, I think, is now using this as an outlet to be creative, which I love. So he came up with DuPay. So it's like DuPay Me is our website. So it's like
Ah,
DuPay Me, like pay
I
me
like
now.
it.
So that's
Yes.
what it really came from. And it's like, snappy. He picked the colors. I don't know if I'm 100% on board with our green, but, I'll let that go. But yeah, he's really the creative force behind the name and the colors.
I love that because you're always curious, like how did the name come up? Like how did that arrive into the world? So I'm always just like, what is that? But do pay me. I think that's hysterical because it is a play on words and it also subconscious like do
Right.
pay me. Like it would be
Right.
smart.
Exactly. It's
So
not,
question
yeah.
as the question of like what the business is, how is do pay me? Or I'm just gonna keep saying that now. How is do pay different from like a lawyer collecting or having somebody else like what is the difference that you see your company fulfilling?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're singularly focused on protecting income and unpaid invoices. We have
Okay.
contract tools and invoice tools as well, but we're not trying to be a jack of all trades. We really are focused on this issue because it's a very big issue that's affecting freelancers and small businesses. And we believe that it deserves that, focus. We use our legal background with everything that we do because we are both lawyers. We graduated together, but we're not using legal prices. And that was sort of something that always bothered me. I did have a like summer internship at a big law firm, which I ended up turning down, like, as a full-time job because I just didn't agree with these like inflated billable hours. And I
Yes.
think that's the thing, especially with invoices. We've recovered invoices from $47 to $120,000. That person with $47, it means something to them. It's like groceries. It's maybe one day of camp for their children in the summer, like what I'm dealing with right now. But they didn't really have a resource or a solution to unpaid invoices. And
Yeah.
that's where my like advocacy heart comes in. I just wanted our service to be accessible to people. So that's how we differentiate ourselves just in terms of pricing from lawyers, from collections agencies. It's the same thing. I don't believe that people should have to pay 30 to 50% of money that they've already earned because somebody's not paying them. That also doesn't sit right with me. I understand that's how collections agencies operate. I talked to an agency owner at the end of or at the beginning of the year, and she said at the end of 2025 she had $100,000 in unpaid invoices, and she
Oof.
was like, "I so very much wish I had talked to you first because I just signed away 30% if they're even able to collect it." And I was like, $30,000 for work that's already been completed, that you've already done, and now spending more time and resources, just to me doesn't make sense. Like, I think I see things very clearly. But in terms of the way we're able to manage this as like a affordable rate, so it's, $29 a month for freelancers, $149 a month for small businesses and agencies, is because we've really created an efficient system. So we, have like this demand letter that we use for everything. We've really honed it. We've helped thousands of people at this point. So it's a very strong, tight demand letter. We've created our own AI. So people submit the information we need for their demand letter. It sucks it into the letter. We check it because there's always human, involved in
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Send it to them for approval. And then once they approve it, we're the ones managing the situation. So it's human led. We will send out our protocol of demand letters that we've developed, and then we escalate if necessary. But just for instance, today somebody came back and was disputing a contract. So if that happens, then we're again like disputing it for them using our legal background, but not charging as lawyers, because that's what lawyers would do. But honestly, they
Oh,
would
God,
charge
yeah.
them like an hourly basis, or they would just give up,
Mhm.
because we have sent things to, lawyers. If it's like so we help in B2B transactions. If it's like an employee situation, we can't help because that's different. Or if it's consumer, and they'll charge like a $2,000 retainer and just like send letters as needed. And if you want more help than that, then they charge more. And I just don't agree with that. I want everybody to be able to protect their income from start to finish.
And I love that's where you stand in all this, because I do feel like the system is broken, especially in the
Right.
legal and financial world. Like it's
Mhm.
all about how much can I get off the top without having to do much for that. And that always has
Right.
bothered me. I'm like, come on, like we've done the work, like be human in this process. And I think with DuPay, what you've just shared is like it is a human aspect. Like
Mhm.
you've done the work. We're not trying to scam you or skim you of your hard-earned money, trying to get you the money that's not paid to you. Like that's not what we're after, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah,
it's
no, we're just
human
trying to
and
help.
heart-led.
Right. Yes. Well, we always say we're like a mission aligned startup. And it's true. We really are. Like, we're not
Oh,
taking anything extra. There's no like hidden costs. I had this agency owner, he contacted me via LinkedIn, and he kept asking me the same question, like, but how much do you take? And I kept being like, I don't take anything. It's this how much a month. And he just like didn't believe me. So he booked a call and asked me the same question. Again, it's a man. And I was like, I am not scamming you. I am telling you that it's $149 a month for all your unpaid invoices. And then like it took a couple of days and he signed up. But it's just like unbelievable, I think, for some people that somebody is willing to help you at this kind of price. And that's the thing, like we're bootstrapping. So we're, paying for everything. We're not seeking funding. We don't want to. Every time I go into, a meeting
oh
or
God,
like
I
a
know.
happy hour or something, the men will tell me, okay, the first thing you need to change is your price. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's not why I'm not asking you for help. I did not
Yeah.
ask for your,
Oh, they
opinion.
all did that. We sat in
Yeah,
a room together, and the first
right.
thing I sat back and I
Yes.
was like, so everybody wants to help you make more money off of other
Right.
people's misery. Like that's
Right.
literally where they all went. And I was sitting there
Right.
going, so how do I help you market this? Like how do we get
Yeah,
the word out of
exactly.
the good work? It's like two different
Difference. Yes.
viewpoints.
Right. Yeah.
Again.
And again, I'm like, sure, I understand that works for some people, but that's not what we're doing, because we're listening to people. People don't want to spend money on this. And we even just like recently increased our prices slightly. It was $19 a month to 29, just so we can work with something too. And it didn't change. Like, I was so worried about it, and people still see the value in it. And I was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
maybe I should have done this sooner. But it's still just the same, incoming inquiries, because it's still a really valuable price for what we do. And especially when people see it.
Well, and I think the best thing about it is like there isn't any hidden costs in there. It's like
Right.
it is
Exactly.
it is a transparent pricing for what you do. Now,
Right.
it was interesting because you sent over some questions for this podcast, and one that blew me away. You said 80% of your due pay clients are women.
Yes, right. It might even be higher than that at this point, I think,
Oh,
because we
well,
keep getting more women
walk me
agencies.
through
Yeah.
this.
Well, we work with a lot of creators, like UGC creators in particular, and a lot of them are women. So the agency owners, the brands are run by men. The people creating the content are women. And they are not necessarily getting paid when they're supposed to be getting paid. And again, like I said, with the $47 invoice, for those kinds of things, they were like, I have no solution. What do I do? So I think that, we've grown through social proof, through word of mouth. We've done no paid ads. And I think it's people just sharing within their communities, because particularly among that community, or like we work with a lot of people in marketing, it is a lot of women. And I think it's also funny because whenever I sort of talk to a man, they do the same thing. Like, why does it cost this much? I don't trust you. I can do it myself. I hear a lot of I can do it myself. And I'm like, go on, do it yourself. If
Please
you don't
do.
see the value of me doing this for you, don't do it. Women are like, you're going to help me at this price? Yes, please. And I appreciate that. And that's why I love helping them, because one of the things after law school, when I turned down my law firm offer, I worked at a women's rights advocacy
Mm.
NGO in DC. So that's where I actually did an internship there in college, and I just remained friends with the CEO. that's where my heart is. It's again like women's advocacy, women's rights, just trying to make sure that women are on a level playing field or maybe a higher playing field. And I think
Yes.
DuPay gives them that. We give them the protection that they need to protect their income because there are so many things going on. Like I told you, I was trying to shush my children right before this call. Women have so many things going on all the time. Let me just make your life a little bit easier. Take away something that you don't like doing. And it's
Mm.
a very easy sell to women. So, yeah, it's just like a lot of women because of the fields we're helping with, but also because I think they see the value in DuPay.
I love that. And I think one of the interesting things when we were chatting previously in like our first initial meet and greet, you said something like creators like give like videos to their clients and they'll give content and then they expect to get paid afterwards. And I'm sitting over here as a business owner and I would like I typically always get paid first and then deliver
Yeah.
said product or at least half of the payment. Like I've done
Mhm.
contracts where it's like half now, half upon
Right.
like review of delivery because that and the fact that when you said that I was like,
Mhm.
wait, do these creators and these individuals not know that they should be doing this or invoicing ahead of time? Like, is this a missing in our conversation when we talk about this?
No, I think it's just the way that the creator economy has sort of revolved or
Okay.
evolved because it is like smaller deals, at least like a lot of the ones that we're seeing are like $300, $500, and they want to see the output before they're willing to pay for it. Some people get deposits, and like as you
Mm.
become more established, you can ask for deposits. But I think a lot of these brands and agencies sort of see creators as being expendable. And again, it's women. So it's like seeing, like, having so many
Dang.
different options. So, like, if you don't take this job, somebody else will. But that's why when we first started, we were just recovering unpaid invoices. And now we've added contract tools into our subscription without, raising the price really, because we want people, I'm telling them, you need to have contracts going into this. So maybe you won't get paid first, but you need to have a legal document that is at least documenting your rights for payment and for approvals. That's something that we see too. They'll send out some content and then the brand will wait weeks or months to approve it. And then their payment is based on approval. But with our contracts, it's like approval, like within, or like edits requested within like X many days. So it's not
Yeah.
this endless waiting period for the creator. So
Wow.
a lot of my education now is really talking about contracts. Like, what terms do you need in your contract? Why do you need to get it signed? And really just providing that education. Because not only are we trying to recover unpaid invoices, we're trying to prevent them from the beginning.
You're
Because
right.
that's really the greatest value of our subscription is preventing them in the first place.
And Grace, I find it so fascinating when you say that because, like, in my brain, I guess just because I've always worked for, like, worked for Disney, I like worked for corporations, I owned my own restaurant, like, everything from like day one in every book was like, make sure you have a legal binding
Right.
contract. When I did consulting work, there was always a contract. I wish I had better contracts back then, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But because when you said that, I just found it oddly weird that this is the gap of information that's missing from this creator economy. I mean, especially creating content is not like an easy process. I don't care if you're using AI.
No, absolutely not. No,
There's
I
so
that's the
much.
part I told her I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I use AI for some things, but the creative process is still, I would say, 85% human eye, human ex like I just find that fact it's just mind-boggling to be honest what you do. The fact
Well, a lot
that
of the
that is
people
such
who,
a
yeah.
big piece.
Well, for creators especially, anybody can become a creator, right? As long as you have your phone, you become a creator. You're not taking a business course into becoming a creator. So
It's
it's like
true.
stay-at-home moms see it as like a side gig. Students, kids are so young. I had a whole conversation with people about like athletes, like 18-year-olds who are getting NIL deals. And they have no background. They don't know. And they're like brands are throwing deals at them, but they don't know the business like side of having to have a contract, properly invoicing, professional communication. So there's that part also, or just people who are coming from like creative industries who don't necessarily have the business background. Like how don't consider myself a creative person. Like I don't know how to like edit a video. Like, and to some people it seems so easy.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
have that background. And the same thing for creators. Like they can create a video in 5 seconds, but they don't know how the term, like what is mutual indemnification. So it's that kind of like just not having that knowledge and not
Yeah.
knowing what you don't know.
No, and I get it because like editing video is my least favorite chore out of everything I do. I'm like, this is just, and I've seen we had a partner on our team. She loved editing video. She did all this crazy stuff. I'm like, that is your genius. Like you could spend hours just adding music and tweaking things, and I'm like, I don't know how you found that tone to match that word. Like I, that's not in my wheelhouse at all. So I get it. Like it, but it is a. It's a tough gig out there to be
Yeah.
creating content.
It is a lot of work. People think that it's really easy. I mean, for me, I just literally cannot. We've talked about this so many times. I just do not enjoy that part of it. It stresses me out. It's so time consuming for like, and to not even know if people are going to like it or not.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be able to provide the education so I can at least make half of their business easier.
And so your pricing structure is really simple. It's one pricing. They get into it, they get access to it. Do they have like their own account? Do they have like a back office that they're working with you
Yeah.
through? Just kind of walk them through some of the details for our audience.
So we built our own dashboard again, like for simplicity, because I think also as the older I get, the more simple I want. I am not impressed with like all the bells and whistles. I just want it to be as simple and straightforward as possible. So we have a dashboard. Everybody has their own account. If you're a subscriber, there's like one color for contracts, one color for invoices, one color for unpaid invoices. And you literally just push a button and you can create a contract. You can check a contract. And then with invoices, you make an invoice, and then the unpaid invoice advocacy, you just submit, like I said, a button. It takes about 1.5 minutes to submit the invoice, the contract if you have one, communications, and that's it. And then we take over from there. So we're just trying to make the process as easy and straightforward as possible because the way that we're operated, you always are being updated. Like you can ask us for a question, but it's all in your dashboard. So it'll be like next demand letter out on this day. This is the next step. And then you'll be CC'd also. So it's open communication. It's very transparent, but we're not going to give you the like hand holding that I guess you would get if you were like paying a lawyer, but you'd also be paying in 6-minute intervals. So that's the difference, really. You just have to trust the process, and we have an 81% success rate. So the process works, and like what we do works. It's really just having a third party escalating it for you, and we just do it in a very professional way. We don't burn down any bridges. We're not like banging down doors. We're just alerting the other party to an unpaid invoice and that you have somebody behind you advocating.
I think that's what makes the difference when an invoice gets sent in that kind of respect is that you have somebody in the back and they're like, oh, like this is like something we need to do. And
Right.
there's all sorts of reasons for unpaid invoices.
Right.
Some are good, some are malicious, some are whatever, but it's what's out there.
Yeah,
So
but they haven't, and yeah, we say that like it doesn't necessarily start off malicious, right? Like people aren't intentionally like trying to
yeah.
like drag out their feet. It just happens. There's admin delays, there's bottlenecks, there's just miscommunications, but you still need to alert them. And we don't find that automated reminders really work. It's really like everybody's trying to use AI for everything, which is great. But I don't think that automated reminders necessarily work in this situation because it's just something else to ignore. That's why we always say we're like human led. We've used AI to help, speed up the process, like just in terms of our demand letter side and our back end, but we're really still the ones pushing it forward.
And I love that. I love the work that you're doing. I love the niche, the group, the community that you're helping, especially around creators and just the background of this. So, curious question for the audience, and I'm just also for myself, like, where do you want this to go? Is it just kind of keep it small between you and your husband? Like, what do you want DuPay to be if it does have legs and start to grow as the kids grow?
I mean, we really want to be a resource for every creator, every freelancer, every small business. There's really no limitation. We've helped people in 16 countries around the world. We're not even just like US based because this is really a global issue. We want to be part of like banks if they have, a benefit to their community or their members. Like we're talking to credit unions. I had a call this morning with, a bank that's based out of Europe that's trying to come into the US and work with creators. And he's like, can you guys be a benefit to, the people that we're reaching out to? And, we work with communities of freelancers, of creators, and just again, like providing that education. But we want to grow as much as possible. So
Okay.
because we've spent so much time with our back end, like the process is very easy. Right now, it's just between the two of us. If we brought in another creator advocate, we could help, another million people. So we've been very thoughtful about how we do it. Again, that might be an age thing. We want to do it right the first time. We don't
Yeah.
want to make a mistake and then have to correct the mistake. We wanted to take our time. We're 3 years in, putting the processes in place. So now like anything is possible. So we really are just planning to grow. That's what we want.
Well, and I love that because I think for our listeners, so many times we hear the world like jump off the cliff and build the plane in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
I think
gosh, that's
that's,
the opposite of
yeah. See,
what
Grace rolled her eyes too for all my
yeah.
listeners. Like, this
Oh
is our
no.
thing. But
Yeah.
I find with women, especially now as like we get into our late 30s and 40s and 50s, is we're really more intentional. We don't want to build the
Yes,
plane in the
that's
air
a
and
good
have
one.
it come crumbling down around us.
Mhm.
And I think that's where I see a lot of women that are stepping into the world of businesses and creating what they're building is that they want the intention behind it. They want it to have a foundation. They want it to have deep roots into the community. They want it to be more than just a cash cow generating piece where people get left behind. I think that's one of the biggest shifts. And I think with what you're doing, Grace, with DuPay and all of that, it's like you're really reinventing what business can look like, not only for a woman and with children and where you're at, but with your husband, but like let's not just build to tear
Right.
to build capital, right? And just for money. Let's build for impact and or true impact, a true ripple effect, true
Right.
movement of what you're building. And I love it because I think really you're in a space where you're saying, let's change the name of the game.
Yes.
Let's not bill for every 6 seconds of somebody's time. Let's tear apart and rebuild what's out there and let's make it a human-based aspect and really serve. And I think what you're building is absolutely beautiful. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for seeing me and not making me explain it to you.
No,
Thank you.
and I that's the thing. I think so many times you try to validate what we're doing and we're trying to validate why our pricing is what it is. And the thing is that there is a heart behind it. And here's the thing I do know is the universe will always take care of you when you give out what needs to give out. Like there will be other avenues that generate revenue. There'll be other things that support you and take care of you. And then as long as you're leading with heart, it is possible to build extraordinary businesses. And you're living proof of that, you and your husband and your entire family. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for being the role model. I mean, come on. We need different viewpoints of way the business is built because I think as women we all mostly agree that what's out there is broken. That's why
Right.
we leave corporate. That's why we're not taking these jobs, why we're getting burnt out. It's like the system's broken. And if you keep building with the broken system, nothing changes even as a business owner. You
Right.
have said, nope, this is what we're doing. And I love the fact that you're holding that line and really owning that. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think everyone that is hearing this episode or watching us on YouTube gets a sense of who you are and says, yeah, how do I reach out and how do I connect with Grace? So that would be like the next question. How do I reach Grace?
Well, of course, we're going to have that information available, but my website is dupayme.com, DUPAYME.com, and we're at DuPayMe across social. So Instagram, X, LinkedIn, come find me. I would love to chat.
Yeah.
Yes, feel free to reach out to us. We are really into helping as many people as we can.
And before I sign off with you, I thought something was really interesting when we last talked. We were talking about social media, and you actually said X is
Yes.
actually where you actually have a lot more engagement than across most channels. Like, share a little
Well,
bit about that phenomenon, because I think you're going to blow people's minds with this one.
Well, we started on X, and that
Okay.
was because people like to complain on X. It's a little bit messier, especially than, Instagram. Also, quite honestly, I had never been on Instagram. Like, I was not of the generation of being on that. I wasn't on X either. I really literally wasn't on any social media. I was like a lurker on Facebook, but like not actually involved in anything. But X is where people complain. They're like more open, I guess, like good or bad in what they're talking about. Right now, actually, Instagram has overcome our X right now, at least. I don't know if algorithms have changed. It's about equal, but really it's, like both of those two have been our driving forces in terms of social media. But it all started on X, which is weird because I was very like anti it to begin with.
And I just love how people like how you market your business because everyone says like you have to do one way, but I think it's actually quite interesting that you started on X
Yeah.
and then got the business moving forward, generating an income, and then looked at, do you have somebody running your Instagram or is that still done by
Gosh.
you?
No, it's primarily me. So we've
Okay.
gone through a couple different like rounds of it. I had one woman helping me and then an agency. And then now I've realized it's taken me 2 years because I started on Instagram about 2 years ago that I just need somebody to make the content. Because again, that's
Mm.
not something I know how to do. It would take up my entire day, but I'm still the one scheduling it and the one like thinking of captions and putting it in the right order. It's not like great. It's not like we're getting a ton of views, but people are reaching out to me and we're getting tagged a lot. So whenever somebody has an unpaid invoice, that's really the greatest thing is to be just tagged like DuPay can help you because we've helped so many people. And once you get somebody paid, they're going to be your greatest, like most loyal advocate. So it's really word of mouth. And they talk to their communities, they tell their friends, and we appreciate it. I'm always like, thanks for the shout out. I write that all the time because I really do appreciate it. And then on LinkedIn, I'm, writing under my personal name. So not DuPay me so much, but that's where we're really looking at partners and agencies and small businesses. That's where they live. All out of my comfort zone, but I'm getting more comfortable with it because I have to, because that's the generation we live in now.
Well, and here's the beautiful thing for all of my listeners, and you may not have picked on it, but something Grace said is that, she's spent the last 3 years kind of building the foundations, getting the systems in place, tightening down the process. And I think once you have that system in place, the marketing gets easier
Yes, that's
because
exactly.
you're not trying to build both at the same times. And I think oftentimes we're building businesses trying to do both. But
Hmm.
there's something about getting the system, the process, getting that through. So my one channel, testing it all out as you're building it, gives you the sense that, okay, I can take this next channel, I can take on a little extra work, and that's my capacity base. And I think
Right.
you just reflected that beautifully, whether you knew it or not.
No, I didn't know, but that's just what I've been doing. Sometimes I just
Yeah.
know what I'm doing. I will also say that I also just gave up on TikTok, and another woman gave me permission to. I was like, I have to be on everything all the time. And this other woman was like, no, you don't. Like, don't be on TikTok if it stresses you out. And I was like, okay. And I just stopped doing it because it was stressing me out, quite honestly, and I wasn't getting the returns from it. So
Yeah.
while like some things feel like they're going to be that like shiny star, if it's not working for you, don't keep like beating a dead horse. Like there's really no need to. And I was like beating the dead horse of TikTok. I was like, I don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So lean into what's working is something that I'm also realizing.
Lean into what you find you're either
Right.
excited about originally or something that kind of gets you going. But eventually, as the company grows, like I am all about hiring somebody to take care
Right.
of all the
Yes.
implementation. Like, right? Like at some point, that's where I want to get to because your
Right.
area of genius isn't always that, but it's learning that through the process of your entrepreneurial journey.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I mean,
I
I
love it.
will outsource this at some point too.
All right, so how to connect with Grace and DuPay and get all of that information is going to be in the show notes. It's also going to be in the articles, the blogs, the YouTubes. You'll find it all there. So if you want to reach out and connect with her, I highly recommend it. And for all of my listeners and all the women out there, you know what I always ask. If you found something that Grace said that was like, I do know another female or I know other guy or I know somebody that could, benefit from this information, share this podcast episode with them because that's how we continue to grow. That's how we still continue to be the number one podcast for female business mentorship and how we support more women in their voices and what they're building in business. And that's what we want. We want to highlight and amplify the women in the world of entrepreneurship and what we deal with, including if kids come running into videos or things happen, like this is us. So thank you guys all for listening to the very end and joining us here on Did She Really Say That? Thank you, Grace, so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Katrina.
If today's conversation hit home, don't just listen, take the next step. Download the free Create Her Authentically guide at createherplanner.com/free and discover how to build your business in alignment with your natural rhythm. And if you love this episode, please leave a review. It helps more women find the show. I'll see you in the next episode.